And we are live.
Yay!
Okay, let me see. I'm just checking the socials to see if it's showing up. I don't see it on.
Yeah, you're not feeling so I don't.
Okay, let me see if it's on Facebook.
Yeah, check out. Like, where are we?
Okay, we on Facebook. That's what's up.
Yay!
See what YouTube's looking like. Nina, did you send me an invite? Let me see.
No, not yet.
Okay.
She's going live when I go on hers.
Okay.
And then, yeah. Here we are. Yay! Yay. Mhm. Hey! We're getting this all set up. We're so excited to go live with you today. Got Lashunda in the house. Well, she's not in the house. I got Nina in the house. She's in the house. For real. And so we're real. And just gonna go with this. There we go. Perfect. We did great. Okay, handle on. We did good. Okay, I went off it. I'm hoping that's not. It should because they're two separate devices. Okay. Anyway, well, perfect. All right. Hey. No, I think I wrote this closer because I couldn't see the comments last time. I'm just gonna get on here. I'm just. Can you see? Yeah, you are. I'm just like watching. Yes. Oh, yeah.
The hello from YouTube. That's what's up. How you doing? So YouTube is working.
Hi, yay! YouTube's working. Can you accept it? Oh, yes. Where are you? Can you find it? What did you say? Oh, where are you? I don't see you.
That's
Oh,
what's up.
oh
Okay.
well.
And
Who
I
is
also
that?
and I also added IG too, the Return to Healing IG. So I'm not sure if it's showing up on IG.
Oh no. Oh, yeah, that's not it. Here we go. There. Problem solved. Beautiful. Okay. Is it working? Is it vibrating or vibrating? Is it doing the word
It's
for anyone?
vibrating, girl. We vibrate high chat.
Okay. Let us know on my side if it's reverbing, and then we'll fix it. Okay. Yay. All right. On air. This is so fancy.
That's what's up.
For you. Wish I could. So let's see. Okay. Okay. Is it reverbing for anyone on the? It shouldn't reverb on their side. I think it should be just fine. Amazing.
Yes, we should be good to go. Y'all ready?
What is the title of it? Oh, yes. Episode 2. Oh, I want to do that. I'm like, can I do 2 at the same time? That'd be insane.
Yeah.
That'd be wild. Let's try it. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work. Live.
Thank everybody.
Oh, yay! Okay. Did you tag us
I did. I sent you an invite. Did you get it?
on Facebook? Sorry.
Yep.
Okay.
You need me to
I
tag you again?
Oh,
no.
so I can go on Facebook and join?
You should be able. That's
Mhm.
what I'm wondering. That would be really
Okay,
cool.
that would be easier.
Yes.
Yeah. We getting it together.
Girl. Hey there, everyone.
Oh.
Sorry, you invited me on Facebook because I'm not seeing it.
How are
Okay,
you?
let me see how I.
This is just streaming. This is on her page.
Are you
Yeah.
in the live right now?
I see it on your page, but if I click on it, it's just gonna reverb like it because I won't be on it. I'll just be watching it.
It's not, but
So-
they give you an option to join the chat. You know how TikTok does, because it should. Let me see.
On the line?
If you click on it, you should have an option to join. And let me see.
Oh.
'Cause
No, it's not. It's not like that. I don't know how to explain this, but I know already by what I'm looking at, that's not going to work.
All right,
So
just
that's
go live
okay.
on our page.
Yes, which is fine because that means that her pages, all of your connected channels are working, but because this was like an automatic thing, I think you'd have to like go on Facebook, edit, and tag both of us, and then we would have been able to do it. But I can just share it. That's not a big deal. No. Don't even do that because I can just share this now. So I just shared the thing from hers, and then I'm going to go live on it.
Yeah, see, it don't even get, when I go to edit, it doesn't give me the option to tag once it starts.
Yeah, because it's from
a
this
third
side.
party. Right.
Perfect. Okay.
Live video is starting. Okay.
Oh, live is starting. Yay! Oh my gosh. Oh, no, I can't do mine because if I can't turn the volume off because then I can't hear Shonda. So,
But
I
turn the volume off, my volume is off.
I'm talking about because I have Restream up right now. Oh, but if I just do it on live, wow.
We got options, baby. Okay.
This is such an inception. I love this. Okay, so I think what I will do is because Shonda, you're on Restream.
Yeah, I'm on the laptop.
Okay, I'm gonna mute myself.
Now I'm on my phone now.
Restream.
Yeah, I'm on the laptop.
Okay, I'm gonna mute myself.
Now I'm on my phone now.
Restream.
Yeah, I'm on the laptop.
Okay, I'm gonna mute myself.
Now.
So you you are the one that has the host of the multiple platforms. So it's me and Nina that have to figure it out on our side. So you can't do anything. You need to stay on here.
I need to
the host.
still.
Yeah, you're the host of all the
Scooch
other
in.
platforms.
Okay.
Scoochie.
There you go.
I'm like, where am I?
We gotta get clear.
Hey. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna be live on here. This is perfect because now everybody's disconnected. There shouldn't be any reverb anywhere, and we should be good.
That one.
What?
Okay.
There you are. Yay! Okay, perfect. I'm like, where do I want to look? I think I want to look this way.
I know, so many options.
I love this. This is like truly Inception at this point. Oh my goodness.
It's so good to see you.
Like see your
It's
face.
good to see y'all too. Yes, baby. I'm just trying to, because it said that it didn't connect or return to healing. So I did a couple.
All right, we should start talking because we have some people. Like I have 4 people. There's 4 people in the room, so we'll just start talking. We'll figure it out.
Yes,
we'll
we
do
can.
We'll figure out the tech another time. We're here now, present.
Yes.
Do you want to start? Like
I would love to take 3 deep breaths. That's what I would like to do.
My Christianity wants to say a prayer, but I feel like we need to do something to like open this space and
let's do that. I love a good 3 deep breaths. Okay, if you would love to join us, then you can do that. I'm gonna do inhale through my nose, exhale from my mouth. So in and out. In and out. Last one, in and out. Beautiful. All it takes to come back to center is 3 deep breaths. Thank you. You're welcome. Gorgeous. All right. No one's coming to save you, but that breath will.
Sure
one thing about it, those 3 breaths will. That's for sure. Oh my gosh, thank you everyone for being here. I am so excited. Welcome back to the Return of the Matriarch podcast. We have, of course, me, Saya. We have beautiful Lashunda here. And we have the lovely Nina as our guest today.
Yeah, baby.
This is lovely. You can't see Lashunda because she's not here present, but know that she is here.
In the spirit, baby.
Yes, always.
And you can hear her.
And you can hear her. So. Yes.
And she has so you know her visual. She has an amazing feather in her hair.
We're tapping in with the indigenous tribes, baby.
Yes.
Our indigenous ancestry.
Did you see the park I went to with the indigenous tribe? I'm going to
Abercrombie?
Yeah, Abercrombie. I went to Abercrombie. I went to Philippi Park previously. Like I've been going on work like things like go pick this up or go drop this off. And I end up by these Indian spiritual sites, like 5-10 minutes. So I'm like, detour.
Yeah.
Going. Totally going. And it's been such an amazing experience. So to see you with the feather, it's in alignment to like where my path has been taking me so much lately to the indigenous lands, where the veil is thin and it's just comforting. It's like being back in a tribe in a time when people communed and came together and healed each other. And
the matriarch, baby.
Yes.
Our indigenous ancestors were a matriarchal existence in society. And so, this feather's been on my altar. I found it. And that's how my ancestors communicate, the energy. And so a couple of days ago, I had to put it in. I know that you have been and tapping in with your indigenous ancestors as well. I've been following your socials. And so I just feel like the 3 of us are being grounded and rerouted into our origin, which goes back way before this lifetime, right? So it's just beautiful to see how all of this is unfolding. I laid my heart on the line to the 2 of y'all yesterday. And I'm really here today having this conversation because we need us.
We do.
We need. It's time to shine, matriarchs. Let's go.
Woo-hoo! I love this. Love this so much. So really what we're here to talk about today is many things. But when we started this podcast, really the biggest thing that we wanted to do was to be able to talk about the really tough things that a lot of us go through, but maybe don't get talked about a lot or enough, or maybe there's been so much like secretiveness behind your story. And so later on, I think we could it was there somebody that wanted to come on and talk about her story today, or are we going to do that another time?
She did, and then she kind of was, well, maybe it's not time. So she was cut because this stuff is heavy that
Yeah.
we're talking about. So I've just been speaking to her behind the scenes. Whenever you're ready, because now is the time. But whenever you're ready, because it's really healing time, and letting go of those heavy weights of trauma is so essential to our self-love and healing journey. So I'm gonna definitely keep you posted when she's ready to come on and get it crack a lacking. But we can talk about those things today.
Sure.
You know,
Okay.
we
That's
can
beautiful.
do it.
But yes, I know Nina had something so prominent on her heart that it was a really important topic, because I know for me, I don't have children. So like I feel like it was a lot easier for me to leave my abusive situations, because I didn't have like another human being like attaching me to this person. And so like that, just moms in general are just so amazing to me. It's just like it's like blow my mind. And so so happy to have Nina here, who's a mom.
Yes,
Yay.
baby. Ooh, that's our baby mama. Yes, baby.
Yes. So I think that what we would love to do is, Nina, I would love to ask you first, what, I know that there was like a conversation that you were having that you were like, oh, we need to bring this forward. Like, what brought this forward for you?
Well, Shauna and I always have amazing, I would call them debates. I don't know that they're conversations, because we like seem to argue very different sides. But the thing I love the most about Shonda is we talk about things that I would say most of the time it's probably like 75% we don't agree on what the what it is. But,
Yeah.
but we have conversations, and they're so respectful, and they're done in love, and it's just really proof that you can have two different opposing opinions of what my world and how I envision it, and your world and how you envision it, and what your world is to be and what my world is to be. It doesn't make one right and one wrong and any of that. It means that everybody can have their own separate path.
Yes.
And your path doesn't negate my path, and my path doesn't negate your path. And because we have that understanding, we are able to come together and still have opposing, like I know that for me, like we had talked originally, our first conversation that we had about men was the world that you saw without men being in it. And for me, that was really hard for me, because I was like, well, wait a second. Like, I have a son. My son is 21. I've raised him. I've, like, my entire life, my entire healing, everything I have done has been to make a better life for my son.
Yes.
Now that required sacrifice. So this is where this conversation came from, is because I said, Shonda, if I say that there's no men in the future, like my life's work is negated, it's gone, it's done. Like everything I've worked for, all the healing, all of the things.
This
like
22-year-old being that
he'll be 22 in November. But like 22 years of incubation and birth and raising and rising up of a good man. Like all of the sacrifices I made as a woman, as a mother, to make sure that my child had what I didn't have. And I'm not talking about things, because I had things. Things are not what I'm talking about. What I am talking about is the emotional support of a mother, so that your nervous system is not dysregulated. So you know how, like, what's safe and what's not safe. You walk into a room already expecting safety, because that is your baseline. And that's the type of mother I aim to be. So everything I did, I wasn't perfect. I didn't get it right every single time, but God changed me. Like I walked with God through this entire journey, because there was nobody coming to save me. not my family, not a man, not a preacher, pastor, or church, none of that. Nobody was coming to save me. So until I changed, I broke. I'm gonna always speak from a place of the church because that's my uprising and that's my upbringing. But I believe in Christ consciousness, and there are things there that I have value in that I've learned. However, the church topic is not the conversation for today. But bring me back on topic.
Yeah, the your son and raising him.
Yeah,
and
raising
like,
him, and I didn't know what to do. All I knew was that I was messed up. My relationship with his father was not good. I like my upbringing was fighting in the home. On my Italian side, there was physical abuse. My grandfather would hit my grandmother in front of anybody and everybody who was there. Uh, there was a lot of trauma and abuse in my life growing up. That's the foundation of how we met, was coming together as survivors. And so it's this is really hard because at my foundation, every man, my father, his father, took advantage of me. Because I know you can't say it out, right? Like from a young little girl. So our stories are very different. My trauma was from my childhood. I mean, everybody has childhood trauma, but I'm saying the specific thread that of what joins us is mine was in childhood, and so um, it's hard to then turn around and say like, how do I do all this different? So like so I don't raise a son that sees this as normal, sees this as the status quo. So it should raise red flags when somebody rages out. But when you live in an abusive home and somebody rages out, that's just another Tuesday.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So when you get with a man who rages out, that's just another Tuesday. You stay, you don't leave. You like, oh, he just having a bad day. Oh, you make excuses. You become a gatekeeper. There were many gatekeepers. There were many women who didn't stand up, who didn't help me, who stood outside the door as I was being abused. I didn't do a damn thing about it. Grandmothers, mothers who knew something was wrong, but I ain't gonna look because if I look, I'm gonna find something. And if I find something, I do something. I'm not gonna do something. So you're good. Quit crying. Here's these things. Be grateful. You have a roof over your head. You have a hot meal. It doesn't matter that every man in every situation is toxic. From father, grandfather, stepfather, other grandparents, brother, every single man I have ever been around dysfunctional. But guess what? So are the women. It's
Talk
not
about it.
the men's fault. It's the women too. So behind every man abusing that, there was a woman behind the door permitting it.
Mm.
There was a woman saying, just don't cry. You're fine. Don't tell. It was the women, the sister wolves. They betrayed each other.
Yeah.
Jealousy of the mother is something that I don't think a lot of people talk about, and I don't think like because my grandma also let like a known PDF child into our home. Like he literally had gotten out of prison. The reason he needed to stay with us was because he had literally gotten out of prison for being a PDF. And so have me 5, 6, 7, 8 years old in the house with a pedo. My grandmother knows this. Like, why why would you let this happen? Why would you let someone in? And I can only imagine from like the perspective of her as like, okay, well, I took in because she adopted me, and then she also has her son, and it's like I can really see like when you're talking about like the like I raised this person, like this is a human being that like came out of me, and it's like I can see from my grandmother's perspective how she was like, well, I don't want my son to be shit out of luck, but I also have this granddaughter that I adopted and chose to raise because my mother couldn't do it. And it was like this constant betrayal. But like my grandmother even like had stepped out of her own marriage to have my mom. So all of her brothers were like stepbrothers. Like there were nobody, it was so fucking crazy. It was so messed up. And I wanted to believe for so long that like my grandmother didn't know, but the more that I had talked to family members, oh, she knew, she knew what was going on, and it's really hard to get to a place where you can forgive, but I really love this exercise, and I would love to do it right now because I think it's like a perfect time. But just kind of going through, remember the triangle, my triangle. I love the triangle. Okay, so
Yes,
we're gonna look at this triangle, right? So everything has three sides. There's three sides to every story. There's your truth, my truth, and the ultimate truth, right? Your truth is going to be right here. Their truth is going to be over here. And the neutral setting is going to be up here, okay? When you're making this triangle. The truth, your truth, is what you experienced. Their truth is what they experienced. And the setting is what brought you and that person together, right? Whether you were victim or abuser, doesn't matter. You can be on either side of this triangle, right? But there's always three sides to every story. So when you think about how much accountability, if you want to go back to like, yeah, we're going to sit here and say men mess up, but we're also going to be like women are 50% of it. 50% of the issue is women. It's a duality. We live on a dualistic plane where there is opposites, and opposites create the tension of this reality. We would not have this reality without this tension. It just wouldn't exist. So this third aspect is the neutral space that we take and we say, hey, what was the setting that brought us together? You were saying your grandfather, every single man in your vicinity, who knows what they learned from their dad and his dad and his dad and his dad, right?
It was power. It was power.
Exactly. Like and that was like the thing that led down. For my uncles, it was like their dad was a fucking abusive psycho too. Like so it only made sense. It was either like, my uncle was most likely out of all of this, like it made sense that he became who he became because that was a control thing for him. He needed power over something, and if he couldn't have it over his own life, he was going to take it from a child because that was going to be so much easier. So we can see the neutral setting and we can say, wow, I didn't have any control over the setting of this situation. I can absolve myself of the setting. What I can do then is I can take 2/3 at minimum, 2/3 of the accountability in this cycle. I can say, I allowed on some level this to happen. I'm not going to take accountability for what they did, but I am going to say, hey, we were in a fucked up place together. I can take this and I can take this. I don't have to take this. But if I can take 2/3, I can really start to see where our setting kind of was like, oh, okay, well, they learned it from somewhere. Inherently, if I for me, I believe that all people are inherently good. So if we're all inherently good, there is goodness in them, but they could not see it. Can I see the goodness in them? I couldn't see the goodness in that situation, but can I see the goodness in them? And then I can take just 20% more. Now there's about 20% left that I cannot take accountability for. But now that I've literally seen from all three perspectives this horrible thing that has happened to me, I can let it go so much more. I can say, I see my part in this. I see other people's parts in this, and I see the neutral place at which this happened. I don't have to take all the accountability, but I do. If I'm gonna be able to come back and control my reality, I'm gonna have to take accountability for my reality. If I can take 80% accountability, I'm going to in any scenario. So when you're going through these things and you're trying to figure out how to get past awful things that have happened, think about these three places. Think about yourself as victim or abuser. Think about the abuser, and then think about the neutral setting in which you guys came together. And the setting doesn't always, or the abuser doesn't always have to be a person. Sometimes it's a system, sometimes it's a structure, right? But if you can see and figure out where all of these things are in this triangle, you'll be able to let go of so much of that shame that you carry around, because really what keeps you in these cycles is that cycle of shame. Yes. It's the cycle of shame. Ooh, shame.
And so, how do and I firmly believe that mothers are the protectors of children. I just it's
The
for me
protectors
that's
and the teachers and the teachers. Like
and I believe protectors, providers, the everything, because we come through the womb. So when we talk about, and even it's two things. So when people who have been abused, because both male and females have been traumatized by men, and women do it too, but the majority of perpetrators are men, and both males and females,
been
right? So
traumatized.
then, as far as children, being abused as a child is what I'm speaking about. And so, when we're talking to the people today about healing, and what you just explained, Saya, is that's that's definitely it. However, how do someone take accountability for something that was done to them as a child? Now, forgive, that's
Yeah.
very important, but
Yeah.
how does someone that's an adult now
Mm-hmm.
take accountability for something that was
I
done
think
to
it's
them as
less
a child?
accountability and more just understanding of the situation. Like, so my father was sexually abused by his uncle, who was my father's brother. There's obviously a cultural thing going on in that cultural bloodline, and I've talked to other girls I grew up with who were the same culture as me. So in my culture, on my father's side, um, women are property. Women are property. That's just it. They're
But is
property.
it just is that the mindset of
It is a mindset. It's a mindset that they're property and I can do what I want with them. And there's, I mean, there, culturally, there's some things that like, it's just, that's their mindset and that's what they grew up in and that's what they saw. So can I take ability for that? No, but can I have understanding that it is a generational pattern that, okay, like, it's not my fault. It's not my fault that that happened to me. It's not, there's nothing like, I grew up like in so much shame of like, what did I do that like, because in those situations, all he had to do was have too many beers. And it was like, oh, you're not, you breathed wrong. I'm going to take you in this room and spank you. But I wasn't taken in the room and spanked. I was taken in the room and other things were done to me. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, but all the behavior, and it was done in silence, and everybody knew this was going on. Like, but you don't talk about it. Nobody's allowed to talk about it. I'm still not allowed to talk about it. That's why I don't talk to my mother, is because when I'm in therapy and I'm trying to get help and I'm trying to heal and I'm trying to not like go down the drain of my life, my mother's like, did you ever think if you just stop talking about it, you get better? And I was like, that is the thing that destroys you. That is the thing that destroys you, is by somebody saying, stop talking about it. You have to talk about it. And I've talked about what happened to me so much with people. And it's like, I have people who just come up to me and tell me their life stories. And they're like, I don't know why I'm telling you this. And this is the gift. This is the forgiveness. This is the accountability. Is that all of this stuff that I've been through is being used for a purpose, to heal others. First, I have to heal myself. I can't heal anybody else until I heal myself. Decades of healing. I'm talking, I was in the church. I was in every Bible study. I was leading Bible studies. I was on the prayer team. I was, because church and Jesus and God and the Bible, those were the tools I was told would heal you. And in some way they did. I'm not going to lie to you, but here's the way that they did. The way that they did, I got in the Bible for myself. I read for myself. I didn't listen to somebody who was trying to manipulate me with a message or just put a certain part to highlight something, but not give me the context in which the conversation was had. I want the whole conversation. I want to hear it from the source. And that's what I did. And so every day while I was getting ready, I would wake up, I'd read books about raising boys because I didn't know how to raise a boy. I didn't know what to do. All I knew is I didn't want to be like my mother. And then when I separated from my ex-husband and we lived in two different places. And my son would go, we lived like 15 minutes from each other. So my son would spend 1 week with me and 1 week with my ex-husband. And we co-parented very well. And I was very fortunate because of the healing I had done, because of the blessings of God. Like my ex-husband, is he perfect? No. Would I ever want to be with him again? Absolutely not. But is he a fantastic father? I will never take anything away from him in that area of his life. He was an amazing father, and I needed him, and he was good in that area. But good for me as a man, no. He was a like I was reliving my mother's marriage to my stepfather with that man.
That's what happens.
That's what you do. You relive the patterns.
You do.
You relive the patterns. They repeat, they recycle. And until you wake up and say, something is wrong with this. This pattern keeps repeating. I have to do something different. And that was my heart. And that was my cry. So how do I do something different so my son doesn't have, like, I don't want this for my son. I don't want this life for my son. And so when my son is so much like me. He's so intuitive. He feels energy. He's so sensitive. And he hasn't had to go through trauma training to get all those abilities. It's amazing. You know?
Thank God. Thank God it stopped somewhere. Like if it didn't happen, if it couldn't stop with me, then at least it stopped somewhere.
But like I was dedicated. Every morning I woke up, I worshiped. Every morning every night I read. I spent time with God on my own every single day and prayed because I was like, nobody out here is helping me. Everybody out here, my family, they all they want me to do is just stop. You have things. You have a nice roof over your head. Why aren't you happy? You have things. We do this for you. We do that for you. Just be happy and don't talk about what happened to you because that's not pretty.
I mean, I'm assuming that they had shame as well around like what was going on.
Catholic.
Shoot, I'm telling you, shame is literally the mass control emotion. Like you can get somebody to do anything. Like push the button. Literally, like you can get them to do anything. This is what the issue is around like not talking about these things and not bringing these conversations forward is like if you have this shame, it's going to stay with you. It's going to keep you from sharing and expressing authentically. It's going to you're going to do things to make sure that like what you want to keep hidden doesn't come out, and that is manipulation. Self-manipulation because you're the one that's suppressing your voice by not talking about it, and manipulation from others because they're telling you that it's not appropriate or not good or it's bad or you should be ashamed. And you recognize as the more that you talk about what happened, the more that you divulge into it, the closer you get to realizing that you had nothing to be ashamed of. That's what the point of the triangle is. The point of it is not to assign blame or shame to another part of the triangle. It's to make peace and also to say, hey, I am going to see that it actually makes so much sense. Right? It makes so much sense that I was the victim. It makes so much sense why they did what they did. It had to be this way because this is the tension of duality. When you bring in that third space and you can look down from that place of neutrality and say, oh wow, this is
now,
about this.
It has to be that way. So people will say, well, how can you say that it's okay for children to be abused? Now, what I've learned, because I tap in with tarot, and it really helps me to understand this reality that we're in and the reason why suffering happens to us, even as children. And so I just heard a couple of days ago, they said it was for your soul's growth. Yes. Because if it hadn't happened, you wouldn't be who you are today. Like growth, growth comes through pain and suffering. That's how we grow. And it's so crazy. It's like, why would God create it like that? But it is what it is. And
If
we
you're
talk
comfortable, you don't change.
about,
If you're
yes,
comfortable, you don't change. You stay
that's
the
right.
same because
Right.
why would I change? I'm comfortable here.
Right.
But when you're forced,
Right.
when you're kicked out, when I couldn't not heal, or it wasn't. I wasn't going to live.
Exactly.
It's
Right.
not
And,
like
and the
my bout of trauma was not even. It's not even like I can continue this. It was so much that it was either life or death. Those were the choices, right? There was no gray area because of the amount of trauma. Any any foothold that I allow my trauma in my life can take me down, which is why I do everything that I do on a daily basis. Like it is I have to sit with God every day. I do it differently. I'm not going in a building listening to a man who I've read more of the Bible than you have.
That part.
I'm going to go to the trees and I'm going to go within
nature.
and
That's
I'm going
right.
to talk to God and I'm going to say, show me. Because
Mm.
now I know all the words that he spoke. I know his nature. I know his voice. I read it. I did read the book. I know who he is. So now I can go and I can find God within myself, out in nature, out under the trees, and say, and especially the ancestral lands we were talking about, the veil is so thin there, it's so easy. You can literally feel them around you. But if you allow yourself, I've always been energetically sensitive, but since I have been telling the truth, because this truth does set you free,
It does.
um,
Hello, and that's why you talk about
that's why you
your. And
talk about it.
the last time we hung out, I said why, and I was questioning your healing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what I have come to understand, and even for myself, when I reflect on the betrayal that's happened to me, and the reason why I talk about it is because that's how you call in your justice, by
Yes.
talking about it. That's
You talk
instead of
about
us retaliating and ending
it.
up in jail somewhere. We have to do things a different way, especially when you're on a healing journey and you're dealing with betrayal. You can take matters into your own hand because you got free will, but is it the wisest decision? And so
No,
your faith is so important, and letting God handle things and letting your ancestors, we can keep our hands clean. And so that's why spirituality is so important when you're on this healing and self-love journey, and you're not trying to take matters into your own hand to bring in justice for the betrayals that was done to you as a child. And even as an adult, you handle it a different type of way. And so, you know with both the males and females, because we have everybody tuning in with us, how do they start this healing journey? Where do you, when you're just like everything around you is chaotic, you don't have no peace, you're starting from scratch, how do you begin this healing
okay,
journey?
so for me, like what they teach you, like sit still, pray, be quiet and silent. No, no, no. That just not work for me because I am like, I need to be constantly moving. So what works for me is I dance. I move my body. I close my eyes. I go within. I do it in the shower. I make it easy. I make it an everyday practice. It does not have to be this great grand gesture of I'm going to start this magical spiritual journey. No, it just has to be I know where my journey started with God. I was like, God, need help. I don't even know what's wrong with me. But is that telling yourself the truth? It's like being honest with yourself. Is
Yes.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know how to fix me. I don't know. It's just like letting go of that ego, letting go of that pride, and saying, I don't fucking know. Like I didn't know how to be a mother. Most of my journey was God show me because everything I saw, I didn't want to repeat that shit. So I don't even know where to go to look for this stuff. So but it's that breaking down of yourself, of letting go of the pride of being like, I got this, I'm good, I know. No, I don't know shit, God.
Pretending, yes.
Like and I said that, like, even love, and that's the thing. God said, do you know, like, you know how much I love you? I said, I don't even know what love is. And God said, you love your son. oh, I love him so much. Like I would protect him. I would do it. Like I went into all these ways I love my son. And God was like, so you don't think I love you like that? Like, and I was like, oh wow, because I had never felt love from somebody else. So how was I supposed to know how to give love? I had to learn on my own from God, and that's all it takes. All it takes is having a heart to say, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I need help. Is that humble heart that God sees, and God is like, come. Like if you had somebody you love, think of any person you love, and they were hurting, you would immediately open arms. Come,
Mm-hmm.
like that's the first thing I do when somebody's hurting. Come here, baby. Like come, yeah. And that's what God did, and He began to show me. And because I was aware, because I had that heart and I had that opening, He would show me things. So like when my son came home, and he said to me, "Who's in the house?" Because my son picked up on stuff energetically, and he was like 7 years old, and
He
I
was the
was like,
little.
and I didn't want to tell him who was at the house. He didn't even know who was at the house. But at that moment, I realized you're going to either have to lie to him or you're going to have to live in the truth. And I saw him, and I don't know what I said to him. I definitely kind of didn't say the full truth. And I saw his face look up at me, and I felt the feeling of his face was the face I had looking up at my mother. It literally pulled me back in time to a moment in a memory that I saw that same look on my face. I was like, oh, I'm trying to swear. F no. This is not what we're doing here. This is not what we're doing. So I got my entire life in order. I was like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to live my life that if I can't tell the truth about what I'm doing, then I shouldn't be doing it.
Shouldn't be doing it.
If I can't tell my son that there was a man here, then that man shouldn't have been here. Because there's a reason that I don't want to tell that truth. And if I can't tell that truth, then, and so that's what I started doing. I said, I'm going to live my life that if my son saw everything that I did, I would be proud of it. Did I get it right all the time? Absolutely not. Nope.
Are we ever going to?
Funny stories.
Now, you just spoke on 2 points. One is not if you can't speak the truth to your child.
Yeah.
And then another one is the majority of the world. I'm not going to say majority, but from where I see it, a lot of people cringe when you talk about God because God has been made to be.
I
cringe, because God has been made to be like this bully. That's how people talk. Like you going to hell if you don't. And so people don't want to talk about God. They don't want to hear about God. But God is love. We have free will, and so having a relationship with God, which is spiritual, we're spirits first. So to try to put, to say, well, God is this, that God, that ain't really how God works. You know what I'm saying? God is that energy that, like you said, you go within to feel God because we're made in the image and likeness of God. And so you are God, basically.
Right. And he showed me vision of what I needed to see so I could change myself. He did it in love. That's how God works. Like, he's like,
so how can people, because that's what I feel like a lot of people are missing is that connection. And so for me, I was raised in a church too. I just don't subscribe to it anymore. Like the scriptures are my foundation. But I tap in more with my spirit team, which are my ancestors, the great mother, ascended masters, angels. And so it's like a whole conglomerate.
I'm gonna get them all.
Come here, everybody.
We had with everybody, baby,
We had tarot. We had all of it because listen. And there was one time we were at the garden, and I forget her name, but there was a girl there who did Hinduism, and she told me things in Hinduism, and I was like, awesome. That is amazing. And it was so cool. And we came together and we talked about different principles. But that's the thing, is if they can get you to fight and say, oh, you don't have the same skin tone as me, you don't believe the same thing as me, we're different, nothing we say we can agree, we're gonna just be enemies, right? But you and I have proven, like, that's what we said. We talk about things that we're on opposite sides of the fence here, and we still show each other respect. That's the difference. Is I can have my vision and my life, and I tread with peace and love. That means I don't have to trample on your vision and your life to validate my vision and my
Right.
life. I
And
can.
like I told y'all yesterday, both of y'all have, because it was only my way. Like it was my way. And so meeting the
No,
two of you,
not
it
you.
was. And so
No.
meeting the two of you has humbled me, and I have had to self-check and realize that, hey, you talk about this free will, you ain't the only one got free will. And so I've been having to eat my own words because I was out here like,
I know
this
that respect
this
is
is
free
what
will.
it is.
It's so easy. You know what? I was saying this before. I was like, it's so easy. It's so easy when you are living in isolation or when you're not connecting with people. It's so easy to be spiritual when you're
Hey, was
alone.
that what it was? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Being,
And then
being
when
in
you get
isolation. It's
when
true.
you get with other humans, when you get with a doesn't matter who it is, when you're in relationship of any kind with others, you are literally looking at constant fucking mirrors, being like,
Yeah.
shit.
Oh my God. It's
Sandpaper, just refining the out of me.
Literally, I'm like, wait, I have to actually practice what I preach when there's people around. Dang it.
oh my God. That is the truth. And
Right.
I have been
But
having
here's my
to,
you're gonna
yeah.
talk about it, you gotta be about it. And if you're gonna
That
and
part.
that's embodiment. And that's what I began to do with my son is I didn't date for 4 years.
Wow.
Why? Because I knew my son had still has a dream and his future. His dream at the time when he was in school, he was in high school when I got my divorce, and he wanted to get D1 scholarships. And I knew bringing, and he was a freshman in high school, so I knew bringing random men into his environment, my home, my space, my energy was going to throw off my son.
Hmm.
So I'm not willing to sacrifice my son for some man, and especially not the men I was attracting at that time because I was still messed up. And the quality of men I was attracting at the time were still in alignment with old energies that I did not want, that were not healthy. And I recognized that, and God showed me that. And I had a choice to make. And this is where the thing that I talk about is there becomes a choice as a woman. What are you going to do? I had a choice. I left his dad because I didn't want to see my son speaking to me in the same way that his dad was speaking to me. I changed everything because I didn't want to repeat the same pattern. So as soon as you see a pattern, oh, oh. And that's the thing is when it comes to, we talked about abusive men. Now, if I even see you get mad in traffic and you have road rage, oh, what you gonna do when I piss you off? Because I'm gonna piss you off
Look at me. I'm gonna piss you off.
so much. Right? Are you going to yell at me? Because if you yell at me, I remember after, so when my son went to college, I started dating again. And of course, we had to filter through some old pattern spirit. And there was a man, and I was in the store, and he started yelling for me. And I'm like, is this man yelling at me? I'll walk right around. I said, and I looked him straight in the face. I said, are you yelling at me? And he immediately stopped. I said, I need to check because I haven't been yelled at in a real long time. And I need to make sure, are you talking to me like that? His immediate voice went real up. Now, I didn't fight back. I didn't say anything, but I immediately put that. I was like, excuse me, is this actually what's happening? I made sure he recognized what was actually happening in that moment because clearly he was not recognizing what was happening in that moment. And he said, oh, I'm sorry, I have young kids. I'm used to just shouting. And so, no, sir, not with me. I have a very delicate nervous system. You cannot shout. You can't have that kind of energy around me. He got gone.
Period. That's real. And now, so you actually, right, and like you said, you made the changes to accommodate your children, and not just your children, but yourself, because you had to choose self-love and self-respect, self-worth to even walk away from the marriage, to be able to recognize that something was off. Well, your nervous system, like you said, it was like, and so it's where do females who both have children and who don't have children, how do they get off of this hamster wheel of abuse and trauma at the hands of men and taking
It's
accountability for the part that they're playing?
as simple as a choice is, do I want to continue this pattern of behavior for my children? And yeah, it was a lot
And
of
if they
loneliness.
didn't have
4
children,
years without a man, 4 years without a man, 4 years without talking to a man, 4 years with nothing to do with men, nothing I led Bible studies.
so isolation, or taking out that time, like the celibacy is
I did a lot in that time. So I held groups for other women in trauma. I for 8 years I led groups to help other women out of trauma. I got heavily involved. I painted. I like I did everything I could to make my time full. So because as soon as I was home alone with them feelings
the idle
were loud.
mind.
The idle mind sitting alone with them feelings. Oh,
So you
sure
were
would be
doing
nice.
things that you loved. You started tapping back into your child things.
Yeah. I want to paint. I'm gonna go paint. I want to go.
Thank you.
Do this little TikTok-y thing. Okay.
Love.
That's, and I poured into other women. I poured into other people. I helped other people. The best thing you can do is be of service to other people, and God will bless you through that tremendously with an open heart. I don't do it for return. I don't do it for anything. Like the church would call me for random things. I'd get like, it was a big church, a huge church here in Tampa, like several campuses. And they call me and say, we have this special case. We need you to go do this, because they trusted me, because that's like, if there were, and people would call me, hey, I'm out of town. Something's going on with my daughter. Can you go pick her up? I would go pick her up, stranger, drag my son with me. My son saw me 7 years old, would see me. Come on, we're going to pick somebody up and help them. We're going to do this. So my son saw the walk that I walked while he was there. He saw not only the commitment I made to not have it, he didn't know that I consciously made a decision not to have men around in my house or around me. I don't know if my son still knows that, but I definitely, my son has only ever had 2 men around him, his father and one other man. And that's because he was around when he was little, and I would take my son, he was a performer, so I would take my son to his shows. And so that's it. In 21 years, I've not had random men in and out of my son's life. That's how I protected him. I didn't let random people, because I don't trust anybody. And this is my greatest thing. My son is the only thing in this life I care about. There isn't another thing. I don't care about things. I don't care about materialism. I don't care about money. I don't give a shit. As long as my son's good, I'm good. And the only way my son was going to be good is if I was good. Just like on the airport, they tell you put your mask on first. If I don't heal me, my lineage is done. It repeats the pattern. I was called to be a cycle breaker, so I had to do everything different, and it's hard. But all it takes is a decision. All it says is, I don't want to be like my mom. Show me how not to. Now, it doesn't magically change. You don't wave the magic wand and
we wish.
Woo, it's perfect. No, this is 21 years of healing. I've done doctors. I've done EMDR. I've done every therapy that I thought could help me. Talk therapy you've done a segment on talk therapy. The right therapists are great, but you are not meant to be with a therapist for 5-6 years. All of my therapists, every single therapy, it was like, this is a year-long therapy and you're done. Like, there was a plan and there were things done. EMDR was one of the best therapies I've ever had.
Now, what is
EMDR? It's like electro, I forget what it stands for.
Movement desensitization. I don't remember what the R stands for.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's, what it is you watch a light bar go back and forth, and there's vibration plates in your hand, like little buzzers things, and it kind of puts you in a trance. And what it does is quantum physics healing. Okay. So it's
Beautiful.
science. Yeah, it's quantum physics healing. And what it does is it takes you back to a memory. And it's almost like, if you think of like the Ghost of Christmas Past, where the Ebenezer Scrooge goes and they visit past memories, right? And they see it, but they're outside of it. So they're not really affecting it, but they're kind of seeing it. And sometimes seeing it from like an adult perspective versus the child perspective, it allows you to see that situation and be like, okay, I get it. Like I literally time traveled in my mind back to memories that were stuck in my fascia, like in my body and in my muscle memory and things like that were trapped in my body that were keeping my nervous system dysregulated. And so what we do is we go back to those memories. I'd watch them and it's almost like a movie that replays in your mind. It's like, it's amazing. And I would see it visually in my mind. I would close my eyes and I would be able to see it visually in my mind, this memory replay. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's where my core programming came from. That conversation that my grandmother and my mother were having about all of these things, And so, but as a child, they just stuck with me and I just thought I was bad or I was just wrong or I was just this. And the child doesn't know how to process it, but the adult does. The adult goes back and sees the entire situation and is like, my mother was broken. Her mother was broken. They had these, cultural, generational, all of these colonized Christianity mindsets that were at play in this. And so it didn't make the memory go away, but what it did is it helped me understand it as an adult. So now, okay, this really messy memory that was just causing all of this havoc in my life because it was just a mess all over the floor. I now just kind of picked it up and put it in its place and saw it for what it is. And now I can put it on my shelf as a resource to tap back into. Okay, like I understand that mother wound. I understand that because that was a core mother wound memory, like core memory mother wound that I had to see and heal. And I couldn't do it on my own. And so it did help me. It's not medication. It's natural, because I have tried to.
And so you and Saya, and I have too, but I would love for both of you to speak about that you've utilized. Like the plant medicine has definitely been big on my healing journey. And just like, you were speaking about the other service that you, but can you expound more, both of you, on what the people can tap into if they're really ready to heal and release these traumas? Because, say I've heard you mention that people try to open certain chakras before they started that root chakra, because that is your foundation. And a lot of people don't know about the spiritual body. They just see the flesh and like, this is all it is, and you die and that's it. And it's just not true. So can you both speak about that, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the hard part is when you first dive into spirituality, we were talking about choice before. And the thing about choice is that, and I actually did at an anti-trafficking symposium in 2019, my speech was on the nuance of choice. And so I want to bring it back there before I kind of dive a little deeper, because there's a point to bring around here. Choice, as far as like a conscious choice, is very different from an unconscious choice. There's actually two places that you make choices from. The unconscious choices are 95% of the choices that you make. These are unconscious, meaning that you are not actively thinking about them in your conscious mind. Your body has adjusted to your surroundings to make these choices, right? Mm-hmm. If you don't have a regulated nervous system, if you do not if your body is constantly reacting from these unconscious wounds, then 95% of the decisions you make, you're going to look back consciously and be like, why did I do that? And you're not going to understand why. Wow. The other 5% are the conscious choices that we make. The ones where maybe somebody asks you a question of like, do you want this for dinner or that? Do you, whatever, do you like this or whatever? Those are more conscious choices where I'm like literally consciously being like, okay, this is what I'm choosing right now. When you do not have access to the unconscious, which is most of us, a lot of us that have had trauma dissociate, whether that's like full on episodes or whether that's literally just micro ways where we are completely disconnected from what's going on physically. We need our trauma responses. People are like, I want to get rid of my trauma responses. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't, because you need them. You need them. They're there for a reason. Now, your experience and your life created these trauma responses around things that you experienced. That is normal. It is normal for your nervous system to create these unconscious things, because if you had to think about all of the things you have to do in order, and if you had to make all those choices consciously, your brain would blow up. It just couldn't handle it all. So when we think about choice, what we can't really focus on the 5% of the conscious choices until we've created a bridge to the unconscious. That is what somatic healing does. EMDR is an example of somatic healing because it's body based. But so somatic just means body based. And body based healing gives you the opportunity where conscious is mind and unconscious is body. Unconscious decisions that you're making are going to be made from one of those 4 responses: fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. If you don't know what fawning is people pleasing. And this I see a lot in women, myself included. Like this was something that I really had to work through. We're taught
I don't want to say it's spiritual though, because it's just, for me, it was like a stronghold that I had to break in my family. Like,
because it's submission,
yes.
But it's talking about what are you submitting to?
Right.
Are you submitting to the abuse, or are you like, I'll submit. I will submit to something worth submitting to all day long. You show me you have a good heart, you have good intentions, you're a good alignment. How can I help? I'm submitted to that.
More being an attack on being our authentic self.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that
Mhm.
too. That too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because when you and people pleasing is manipulation. Okay.
Yes. Oh,
people pleasing is manipulation, because if you feel like you have to say yes to make someone else happy, even though energetically or physically or mentally you're not on board, you are manipulating in that situation. Not saying that all manipulation is bad. Sometimes we've learned that we have had to manipulate in order to stay alive. Okay. So not saying that all manipulation is bad, but notice that you are manipulating the situation by not presenting your true thoughts and feelings. Have you had to do that in your life in order to stay safe? Yes, I'm sure you have. As women, most of us have had this experience. So with these 4 responses, we need them. Now, because of childhood or upbringings or past experiences, what happens is our body, when the feeling happens, the feeling is first. Everybody thinks that we're thinking these things first. The body acts first. When something happens in your reality that you don't like, your body is going to have a reaction. Mm-hmm. That chemical reaction from your body is going to stimulate something in your brain, and it's going to cause you to do a behavior. Mm-hmm. It doesn't happen any other way. The behavior doesn't happen until all these other processes happen first.
Right.
So if you can figure out how to control the initial response, if you can figure out how to stop having trauma responses to things that are not actually traumatic,
yes,
you will be able to control the behavior.
Yeah.
That is why it's so important that because a lot of people, you were saying, a lot of people.
That's where I am now. I'm
third eye.
About.
Start with a walk.
They want, right.
Start with a walk in nature.
Literally. But some people want to blast their third eye open with all of this spiritual stuff. And it's like, none of that is going to help you unless you're able to create that bridge between your conscious and your unconscious. That bridge has to be there. You can start. I love breath work to start. I love walks in nature. Like you said, there are so many other options. But for me, breath work has been the thing because breath is the one bodily function that not only connects happens unconsciously. Thank God I don't have to think about breathing. But also I can control it. Like we did at the very beginning of this call, we took 3 deep breaths consciously. We took those breaths and see what happened. We were able to tap back and we were able to lower the energy and bring it back into something that was controllable, right? Mm-hmm. Literally, this is a skill that anyone can learn, but this is what we have been kept from because we keep having everybody saying, the mind, it's your mindset. It's not your mindset. Your mindset is actually perfect. Your mindset is perfect. There's nothing wrong with your mind. There's nothing wrong with your mind. There is a disconnection between the physical reaction of your body and the behavior that you are exhibiting. If you don't like the behavior, you don't change the behavior. That's on the outside of the circle. You don't change the behavior, you change who you are. And the only way you can change who you are is on a 3-dimensional level. This physical vessel is the body that you experience your reality through. If you're connected from this, doesn't matter how blasted open your third eye is, doesn't matter how spiritual you think you are, doesn't matter how many books you've read or where you think I exist in the 5D. No, you don't. Please stop. I'm sorry, you don't. This, you have to root down first. You have to root down first. Laughing, we're
That's right.
Yeah. It's real. It's real.
We have a chance today.
Yes.
Yes.
So to answer your question.
Praise the Lord.
Yes. Amen. To answer your question, you have to start with the body. There's nothing wrong with your mind. There's nothing wrong with your mindset. Your body is actually working exactly how it's supposed to. It's doing exactly what it needs to do. If you want to change what it's doing, if you don't like your reality, if you don't like what you're seeing, then you have to change this vessel. You have to change how you react. You have to change the physical, chemical reactions that are happening in here first. Then you can change how you behave. Only then.
So when you say it's not the mind, so is it not changing your mindset then? Does changing your mindset play? Because I know for myself personally, I have become so negative. And so everything was an attack. Nobody could be trusted. I'm just nervous system up, and I was self-sabotaging, really. I just admitted to someone today, like I was literally trying to force something and self-sabotaging myself when I should have just been in bliss, because that's what it was supposed to be. But I was trying to make it something that, forcing somebody's will per se for this particular situation.
That'll never work.
Right. Yeah. And so, but just when it's just you, I had to look at things from a different perspective. And so when you talk about it being a bodily reaction, because I do understand the intuition and our gut being our first brain, and it's going to always let us know when something is not right or whatever, we're going to experience it in the body, like you said. But where does changing the mindset come into play? Does it come after you? Like how does that happen?
Yeah. Obsessed with this question. Thank you so much for asking. Obsessed. Yeah. So first we need to start with the intuition, because a lot of people think that their trauma responses are their intuition. So we need to make a distinction here between the two of those. A trauma response is going to ask questions. You're going to be asking yourself, can I trust this? Does this feel right? This feels weird. Can I trust this? Like these questions, this anxiety comes. That is not your intuition.
Okay.
Your intuition makes statements, and it speaks once. It says, this doesn't feel right.
Mhm.
The end. The
Yeah.
end. Like, because and what we do is we try to make it logical. We're like, no,
Right.
I'm but this and this and no. Your intuition said this doesn't this doesn't feel right. I was doing so good. You know the F word, my favorite word.
Listen, we're gonna drop a couple of them bombs, baby, so y'all be
yeah, especially if you're passionate.
yeah.
But that initial reaction and those questions is the logic. And we have been taught, we as people have been taught that if it doesn't make sense up here, then it's wrong. And it's like, no, there's a lot of things that don't make sense up here that people do. Okay. Like, I know we know. So making that distinction between is this my intuition or is this a trauma response? Because not every, like, there's no such thing as harm when you are in control. No one can harm you when you're aware of it, no one can harm you unless you allow it. So if you're asking a bunch of questions to yourself, that's not your intuition. That's anxiety.
Okay.
Yes, that's a very Manipura chakra coded, solar plexus coded. So there's that distinction. Then when you're looking at how to change the mindset actually changes after the body changes. So when you learn how to start feeling first instead of thinking, when a physical feeling comes through, you can discern, am I asking myself a bunch of questions or is this my intuition saying something's not right? When I can discern that, then I can make a behavior. That is where that unconscious choice comes up to be conscious, right? But I can't make a conscious choice if I'm not tapped into this first, because my feelings are coming from here. My behavior is coming from what my mind is going to make me do. The brain is going to physically make my body move. My feelings are going to conjure up within my body. And so as that is coming up for you, if you've gotten that bridge connected, which is all somatic healing is, it's just creating that bridge between the unconscious and the conscious. When you've created that bridge, what happens is you can actually stop yourself from doing the harmful behavior that you want to stop before you actually do it, because now it's become conscious. Your mindset has changed because your physical being has changed.
That's good.
Okay, so you've created self-control.
Yes.
So is another, because we talk about people, places, and things that don't serve our highest good. So on this healing path, and when you're trying to get back to the self, you spoke about spending time in nature, somatic healing, just tapping back in with yourself and really loving the skin that you're in, and doing what's best for your body, since it is the avatar to navigate this 3D reality. Then what's after that? Is it the people, places, things? You how can each person, really, what's the next step, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. After you can you start from the first step? What is the first step to getting on this healing journey and really being on that road to healing?
The first step is admitting that you want to change. Admitting that you want to change. Not everybody wants to change.
Yeah.
Not everybody wants to. Cool. I don't need you to. I say this all the time. When somebody doesn't want to start a spiritual journey, or when they're resistant to it, I'm like, I need you actually to remain on that path that you're going down, because that lets me know. I always say this, my opposition is the way that I know I'm on the right path. Anytime somebody opposes me, I can see my truth in their opposition. So if they don't want to change, I don't need them to. I don't need people to come along. I just need to be who I am, and naturally my surroundings change. I didn't leave, and actually today's my 10-year anniversary of leaving my pimp.
Okay. Congratulations, baby.
Great. So exciting. Yes, yes, yes. But I didn't leave him because I like thought about it. I left and I was able to get out and stay out for literally a decade because once I started to realize that it was my physical being that needed to change, I can't change the people around me, but I can change the people around me. Mm-hmm. And so as I changed, my surroundings changed, then my mindset changed. Like there's like what is it called? Not Maslow's hierarchy, but there's a thing that some guy came up with, you know, all these white men in psychology, but there's like behaviors on the outside.
Is it the 4-window thing? What you can see, what others can see.
No, but that's similar, very similar. Okay. But basically, yeah, there's like on the very outside is your behaviors, then it's your environment, then it's your something, and then it's your identity, right? There's some other rings in there, but the identity's in the middle. You can only change all the other rings once you change who you are, who you're being. So trying to change your behaviors or your environment, none of that. You can only change the next outer ring. So if behaviors on the outside and environments here, if you change your environment, then yeah, your behaviors are naturally going to change. But your identity didn't change because that's on the inside of the circle, right? You have to start at the identity level, at the body level, because once you're able to connect this, then it all ripples out.
All right, and so you said it. So changing your environment, just something as simple as that, because you know a lot of people are in relationships of the children, and so having the strength, like you know, Nina, you spoke about it, choosing yourself and saying that, hey, if I stay in this, you know, we all got foresight.
If it was for me, I didn't love myself at the time enough, so I wouldn't have left for me. Because this was normal behavior. This was what I've seen growing up. Men cheat, everybody cheating on everybody. My nervous system stressed out trying to find out who you cheating with. You cheating with the neighbor. I'm getting in fights with the neighbor. You know what I'm saying? Like that. If that doesn't make you recognize something ain't right here, like I had like it literally was like. Just every part of it was repeating patterns of my mother constantly trying to figure out where my stepfather was cheating on her with, and who was this and that, and trying to have outward appearances. There are people who thought I lived with my ex-husband. We weren't even living together. They thought we were married and living together the whole time. No, sir. My nervous system couldn't take that. But there was a point at which my son started speaking to me in a way that my ex-husband used to speak to me. And I was like, no. No. Because I saw my duty as a mother. I took that seriously because my mother did not, and was my biggest op in life. Like I took my role as a mother seriously. I was not going to raise another man who would be toxic and abusive. Like there was no way that was going to be a son of mine. And what I did there is sit there and say, I'm not going to allow this. And the only way that was not going to be allowed was to remove myself from that situation, which meant I was no longer going to have his dad. I was no longer going to have the husband. I was no longer going to have the marriage. I was no longer going to have the pretty picture that I wanted, that I was taught to give to everybody. I had to give that up to make that sacrifice to save myself so that I could be a better mother. Nobody else was coming to save me. I had to save myself. And all that saving took was a choice. And the reason I made that choice was because I love my son. You don't love your children and stay with a man who hits you or them. That's not love. I would live in my car. I would live on the street. I don't care what I had to do. My son was not going to be in an abusive situation. Period. End of report. You couldn't talk to me about that. Like there was no way, no how. And so I did the extreme. I cut all men out of my life for 4 years, not because men were bad, but because I was not attracting the right kind of men, and something was wrong, and I didn't have time to fix
Feel
it.
that in my soul.
It's like a triage situation. You're in an emergency room. Which trauma is first? What's more important? You're going to save you or your child? You can only save one, you or your child. I chose my child. I will die to self every day, and I do it a million times over again. I will always choose my son over me.
And listen to what you just said. It wasn't her environment that changed. She said, I am not the type of mom who's going to let my son become this. And then when that identity shifted, then then the environment changed. Yeah. Then everything else changed after that. Yeah, exactly.
Everything changed.
And so you talk about everything you had to sacrifice. And I think that's the number one thing is people, they want this facade. They want to appear a certain way, but they do not want to sacrifice nothing. They want to bring everything with them into their ascension. And it just don't work like that. You usually lose 100%.
It's a good thing nothing's ever been easy and nothing's ever been comfortable, because I've always had to survive. I've always had to reinvent. I've always had to, I'll burn it down and rebuild it stronger. I don't care. I am not going to live in dysfunction. And it becomes a passion, and it becomes a like, absolutely not. Like, I will not. My son knows. I mean, his dad is like 6'3". He's huge. And like, people think that's the one you're supposed to be scared of. Know those memes about you don't want me to go get my mom?
Right.
I'm that mom.
That's right.
That's my son, but that's the passion that it takes. You love your child. If you don't love yourself, like God taught me how to love myself because I love my child. I didn't know what love was. I'd never been taught what real love was. I was taught conditional love. I was taught all sorts of different kind of toxic versions of love, and I had to deal with every one of them. And you know what God did? God shined the mirror up to me. So after I had the divorce, after I had all that, God would constantly bring to my attention, you were your mother in this marriage. This is what you did. This is
that accountability. We don't be wanting to hear none of that, baby.
And then the accountability be like, hey, and I'm gonna have you pick up the phone and call him and apologize to him. Oh,
no! I don't
like it. Spirit loved it. What I'm behind,
hey,
and
that's growth right now. That's growth.
Because every time I did it, the elevation was amazing. And the coolest thing is, so it was one morning I was up way early. It was like 6 a.m. and God brought all this revelation, and I'm crying. I'm like, I gotta fucking call this man. I gotta call and apologize to this man who hurt me. And God was like, yeah, And I'm like, I knew it was early. He's not up that early. So I sent him a text and I say, hey, when you get a chance and you get up, give me a call. Immediately my phone rang. And he goes, I said, oh, you're up? He goes, I was just on the phone with someone. And he was talking about what a good mother you were. One of his friends that he had been talking about, he was complaining about me. So literally, not only did God tell me that I needed to do this, he set the stage for me so it would be received well. Wow. So that's what I'm saying is when you do the right thing, like God will set the stage for you. He will, like, I could have had anxiety, be like, no, he'd be like, I could have talked myself out of it, but I was like, no, I'm just going to apologize to this man. And that's the reason today that we have a relationship. I mean, I have a tremendous respect for him. He has a tremendous respect for me as parents and my son. There's a reason we can be in the same space together, where we can have, with my son and his life and what he does, we're called to be together a lot, like whether we want to be or not. So isn't it such a better space now that I've created this place of peace because I didn't have pride. He would have hated me if I walked around in pride, and but the reason that I came to him and apologized to him because I saw the error of my ways and the way that I was repeating patterns in that situation. And I saw that, and I was honest, and I admitted it, and I just apologized to the man. I didn't want him back. I wasn't doing it to get the man back. I wasn't doing it to manipulate him. I was doing it to take accountability for my part. of the situation. And my part was I was repeating the toxic behaviors that I had seen. And that's why I was attracted to that type of man at that time, because those patterns were very prevalent there. So I was like, "Ooh, this is familiar, and I like it," you know. And
Don't I know?
and it took being alone for a long time. I'm still alone. I'm still single. I still like, and I learn stuff from interactions, but I do things differently now. Like I said, I see a red flag immediately. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
And-
Thank you for showing me.
And the thing is now that my response time is quicker. Like she said, you see it, you recognize it, you handle it. It's not. It's like it's like nothing. Oh, it's like something fell on the floor. Put it in the trash. You didn't do what? Put it in the like. I don't stick around and be like, oh, that's so interesting that you didn't call me. That's so interesting. Let me find out if you're okay. Are you okay? No, fucker.
No.
We're done. We're done.
Yeah,
We're good. I'm not going to
strong, baby. I know that's right.
I'm not. I raised a man. Right. I'm not raising any other men. I begin to see those. I respond differently, and then my behaviors are differently, and I'm okay with being alone. I like being alone.
Yes, and that's what we have to get to.
Take myself out.
Essential.
I want to go out to dinner. I go out to dinner by myself, or I call one of y'all. Yes. Come on, let's go.
Let's go.
You know, like that's the thing. I go when I didn't have friends, I went to yoga classes. I found things to enrich my life and pour back into myself. I loved myself so that when the right man does come along, I'm not going to repeat the patterns that I repeated in my first marriage or my other relationships. I learned from them. I see the flags. My last boyfriend was extremely avoidant. I did all the heavy lifting. So now if a man doesn't meet me with reciprocity, I am not crossing the bridge to come get you and save your emotions.
Come on.
Not your savior.
That's so beautiful. You are attracting what you give yourself, and that's what people don't understand. We've been talked about being a chaser, a paper chaser, chasing love, chase, but that's not how this. We're not supposed to chase anything. We attract by
is what is meant. And if you don't want to be here, I feel sorry for you. It's awesome over here.
That's what I'm saying. I'm over here like, you don't want this? You don't want this? That's your problem, not a me problem.
That's a you problem.
We were at the beach, me and us, and like people walked up to us, and this girl walked up to us, she's like, I just want to know you. Like I just want because that light and that attraction of like. And she was like, she's just been watching you. And I was like, yeah, we don't care we don't care who's watching. We are dancing, we're laughing,
we're wiggling in the water.
Like, no, nobody else on the beach exists because I don't care. I am enjoying myself. This whole beach is mine. Y'all are just
everybody's just like an extra.
You're just an extra in my movie. I don't notice who's looking. Like you have to come up and tell me you were watching.
Literally, I will not know.
I don't notice.
I told y'all, both y'all are stars, baby. It's just, hey, them lights are shining, baby. I'm like over here, like, yes, baby. I'm so grateful for y'all. And so people have to be willing to grow. If you want to heal, like you say, it don't matter, never mind whether they choose to heal or not. It's your life. So you can do whatever you want. You have free will. But if you do want a better quality of life,
participate. If you don't want to heal, do I continue to participate? Because I can't save you. That's where we go into playing spirituality. Right. If I'm playing spirituality, I'm people pleasing, I'm trying to be that healer. Then I stay because I want to fix it. I'm curious. I'm sent to you. Mm-hmm, Whereas when you're truly healed, you're like, oh no, red flag. I already know this story. Thank you, Spirit.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've learned that lesson many a times. Appreciate it. Thank you for checking to see if I was still there, but I'm not.
Radio.
Let's send.
Yes.
That's real.
So good. This was beautiful.
It sure was. I'm so grateful for y'all.
Oh my gosh. You too, Shunda. Thank you so much. It's always like you're like a great host. Like you always ask like the greatest questions, and I'm over here like seething at the mouth. answer. Like, yes, I want to answer it. So much, so bad. Like, love.
I mean, both of you have a beautiful mind, and the world needs to hear. I told y'all we already internationally known, but we finna step on some lands, baby, that our feet haven't touched this lifetime. And I'm just truly grateful for that. You know, I'm ready to get out here, out in these streets and the highways and byways, and just be who we are. Just
Yeah.
be paid to exist. You know, once you get to a certain level of healing and being your authentic self, because that's really the challenge in this earthly realm is how real can you be to self? Are you going to fake it to make it, to fit in, to uphold family traditions that are not healthy? Whatever the situation is that is not bringing you peace, love, joy, happiness, everything that we're supposed to have. And so for me, this, that's the fight, is like doing what I love, doing what makes me happy. This is my life. I was created to live this life for me, not for you and you and you and you and the people pleasing, like you were saying. And so just taking back power, what you deserve, recreating our reality, because a lot of us was taught to be and to act a certain type of way, but hey, that might not be the who I was created to be. And so what I love about you, Nina, is how you do love your son and you give him the choice to live his life the way he wants to live it, because he is a separate person from yourself. And we have a lot of parents that are imposing their will on their children as well. And that's another show we can go into, but that happens too. But I just everything about you is so beautiful, and both of y'all, I just love y'all so much, and I'm truly grateful for you. I love y'all. Y'all is my babies.
We love you.
Well, I have to actually go see my son before he goes back to school.
Yay!
Well, make sure you share some pictures.
I will.
Yeah, baby.
He's not
That baby boy.
bigger, so
That's too bad.
Yeah,
Tell him
our baby going to the NFL, so we appreciate y'all.
I love you.
I love y'all. So do you have any, last words of wisdom for both of you? If you want to share some last words of wisdom for the people on, just wrapping this show up, and whatever's on your heart.
it's time. The time is now. Hop on the train or don't. That's it.
All right. It's your time, baby.
Make a choice. Make a choice.
Make a choice.
Make a choice.
Nobody coming to save you. Save yourself. We love y'all so much.
Yes. Bye.
See y'all next time.
See you.
Do see. Peace.